It's Thursday, March 20th, 2025, and the Oakland Athletics are now located in Sacramento, California. Little drive up north, and we reside in the current home of the Sacramento River Cats, Summit Health Park, I believe, but in this game we're calling it Arco Park. I have a redesign file, um, so take a look. How can I get there? At our new ballpark, which came to me with a capacity around 50,000. But I don't think that's reasonable right now since we just got here. So I'm considering this to be the old minor league ballpark with a little bit of expanded seating. That park right now seats about 14,000. I'd say they'd expand it to 20 if the A's came into town, and then every year we might expand it a little more until we get to 50 and say that is the year the stadium's fully built. If we choose to stay in Sacramento, I don't know yet. The A's may be transient for the moment. If I go to the model here, this is our ballpark. Fit with all the Sacramento stuff. Sacramento Athletics over here. I'm not sure if it's Ricky Henderson on the scoreboard. It looks like it. So it's our new home. Outfitted LED ribbon boards for us. So the A's will be here as we try and get back to normal. Does not face the skyline, which I'm a bit sad about, but faces the mountains lining the Sacramento Valley. Although this picture does kind of include houses around. But anyways, that's the new vibe. Basic park factors, not really anything that's going to go up. Maybe a bit more doubles. Home runs suppressed, but not more than any other West Coast team, for the most part, except for Colorado, has home runs suppressed. Let's get into the moves that we made this offseason. I guess I could go into so I said coming into this offseason that I wanted to add like a $20 million player. I didn't do that. Whoever was there that was costing that much just didn't fit us right. Maybe he was a righty and we hit a righty, things like that. So I ended up, as you can see, handing out a lot of one-year deals to guys for really not that much money. Number one, though, is Yohan Moncada, who got a concussion and he's out for 5 months. So that's $5 million going down the drain, and he was going to be our left-handed first baseman. So as a replacement, I picked up Cavan Biggio, who right now is actually in Sacramento. I'll show you who made the roster ahead of him. But kind of wasted a bit of money on these guys. Blackburn's back. Last year his deal. Seth Brown is in AAA. Wisdom's back. I signed Rob Refsnyder as the platoon righty outfielder. Nick Gordon is here as well, as he was in the last video. Colin Ray was who I signed as a starting pitcher, but I also picked up Yusei Kikuchi on a one-year deal, totaling $1.6 million. A lot of these guys are going to be reclamation projects. Kikuchi had a bad season after being traded to Milwaukee from Toronto. Shortstop is going to be Paul DeYoung on a one-year deal. There are a couple other guys out there, but he has a decent blend of a lot of different things. And I did sign Nicky Lopez as well if DeYoung falters. Norogumi Matsumoto signs for $1.4 million, and it'll renew at that value. I figured this wasn't too unrealistic because Fujinami did sign in Oakland for a similar kind of deal, and he didn't really work out. So it's a crapshoot with the mid-level Japanese pitchers. So we'll see what happens with Matsumoto this season. And then I did sign Jesus Gurindo, who was the Cuban prospect that was 23 that wanted like 10 a year for 3 years. Turns out nobody wanted to sign him. Like, I signed him in January 18th? I put that offer out like the first of the year, and he just wanted a $3 million minor league contract with a major league option. I don't think there's an opt-out. No, he can opt out. So I'm going to throw him on the 40-man to make sure that he doesn't leave me. But I guess I do have to promote him. We'll see. I don't think he'll leave. He's not a vet. There was one other guy that I gave, I believe. Maybe he didn't sign. But yeah, Gurindo is now the 14th prospect in baseball, our number one prospect, and he's boosted our farm system to 20th from 30th. Daryl Hernandez is also on that list as the 92nd prospect in baseball. I don't really have a spot for him right now, but he'll be up. Denzel Clark, I think, has graduated. But Henry Bolt, this is a guy who was a second-round pick of the A's in 2022. He just won the Arizona Fall League MVP after kind of lighting that league on fire this October. We promoted him all the way up last year from high A after a good season he had in A-ball in real life, and got him all the way up to Triple A after he was kind of average in Double A and was ready to go to Triple A at the end of the year. He's starting the season in Triple A. He's got 65 power, can play a really good corner outfield, center in a pinch. I'm trying to develop these supplementary ratings because he is just 21. Now that he is up kind of with us, I'll probably send him to the development lab in the offseason, depending on how this season goes. I want to work on one of the power or the eye, or I guess the void Ks is important as well. But this power being fully realized at age 21 is big. So we'll be watching him in AAA as he sets fire to the pitching down there in the Pacific Coast League. Max Muncy also checks in the top 200 at 154. Nelson Serpa at 167 was our best international free agent signing. He's 16, probably will end up playing second base, and he's got some good tools. His power and eye already coming along, and I've promoted him at 16 to the Dominican Summer League just because he can kind of already play with his defense and his bat. And then Jacob Wilson at 189 in AAA right now. Again, another righty middle infielder that isn't a great defender, so I'm not sure we can find a spot for him immediately, but this bat has stayed consistent in the minors. He did jump from double to AAA and didn't excel at either level, but I wanted to get him the at-bats as a player who can probably come up and contribute because in A-ball he tore it up and then was okay in Arizona. So another year in the minors probably for him. I don't know who else we have here. Lalo Ramirez, another international guy, and Frank Ludi, two discoveries that are supplementing us on the farm. And the farm's still not where I'd like it, but it's definitely better than it was. Levi Sterling still maintaining a 65 potential. Actually, I want to see, can he go up? No, he probably needs another year. He was 17 when he came to us. Messina as well. I'd like to be able to start full season, but I don't think he's ready. But like A-ball, I mean, we got one guy at a 45 potential, and I picked him up from the independent leagues, and then nobody over a 45 in Double A or in High A or Double A. But Triple A, we do have some reinforcements with Soderstrom Vargas. Sent down JJ Bleday. Gurindo's here. So who else got sent down? Cantillo, you can see. I claimed Nick Frasso off of waivers from the Dodgers. He's a pretty good move for us. Freddie Tarnock is going to start in AAA after he struggled in spring training despite being a good pitcher for us last year. With the additions I made to the rotation, there were some better players that I wanted to add. Number one, Mason Miller will still be a starter. I might give him a pitch count here. I don't know if I can do it without going like that. I don't think I want him throwing more than 80 pitches, if I'm being honest. I guess he threw 60 on average. Yeah, I might have him just throw like... Nah, whatever. I guess I can't even do it. Whatever. Mason Miller, he's there. Paul Blackburn, number 2. Colin Ray, Kikuchi, Sears are our 5 starters to start the year. And these are 5 real starters, in my opinion, not what we had with Brady Basso and Tarnock. I don't really think is a real starter at this level. And then in the bullpen, we have some other options that could start. Boyle can start in a pinch. I tried to send him to the development lab to improve his control. It failed. Everybody in the development lab failed except for Lawrence Butler. His power went up. But everybody failed. All the defensive improvements, I mean, I probably sent like 10 guys, and 9 of them failed. None of them got poor, or I think Seth Brown, his eye decreased, which sucks, but that's why he's in AAA. Huascar Ynoa setting up with Newcomb, 2 former Braves, Waldachuk, Clevenger, Matsumoto, who I expect could start towards the end of the year, Owen White as well as a starter, and Ian Seymour was our Rule 5 draft pick from the Rays. He's a 26-year-old lefty swing guy right now in the specialist spot. Pitched okay in AAA and pretty good FIP-wise in AA last year as a 26-year-old. He was second-round pick in 2020 out of Virginia Tech. And, yeah, I mean, I think he's a good flyer. I didn't find anybody on the offensive side that I wanted to take. So here's Lawrence Butler, finishing the year pretty average, a better season for him in the majors than 2023. Now, probably will have his first full season in the majors if all goes well, and he should be one of our best players. Ref Snyder talked about Denzel Clark, a guy who I'm interested to see what his second full, or maybe his first full season in the majors really looks like. Ryan Noda will start with the big league club after hitting okay in spring training. I just needed a bat like his, a lefty. And then Estuary Ruiz will play left field this season. I mean, he'll play center and right, but I think I tried to improve his eye. He was taking to the program, but then he struggled towards the end and it failed. I just wanted him to be a better on-base threat. Didn't hit well in spring training. We'll see from him what he does. Paul DeYoung at short. Zach Geloff at third. I'd really like him to succeed and have this contact be fully realized. Hit well in spring training. He's a good enough third baseman. Nick Gordon here at second. Donovan Walton also up with the club at second. They're not really redundant. I don't know, because Nick Gordon can play anywhere. He could play at third while Walton plays second. And we need more lefty bats on the bench anyways. We got Noda and Walton. Mervis at first. Good 40 games for us after we traded for him from Chicago. And hoping for big things from him. And Patrick Wisdom, another former Cub, completes the other half of the platoon. So we've basically transported a first base platoon from the north side of Chicago now to Sacramento, California. Picked up Connor Wong on waivers. He had an awful season for the Red Sox, but he's our backup catcher after hitting pretty well in spring training, as did Soderstrom, but I wanted a better backup, like, catcher. And I wanted Soderstrom to get at bats in AAA. And then Langoliers, just hope he continues what he did last season. But we'll have to see. These ratings aren't too high. So that's what we've got here on our side. Full up secondary roster. The only guys above a 55 potential are Garindo and Miller. So still expecting us to not win that many games this season, and they don't either. The rest of MLB, 62 and 100, good for the worst record in Major League Baseball. The world champion Mariners predicted to win 88. The Twins predicted to win 99 games with the addition of Kevin Gausman, who they acquired for Justin Henry Malloy, who was traded to the Twins for somebody from the Tigers. And Emmanuel Rodriguez, who's a really good outfield prospect, it looks like. So surrendered a lot for Gausman, but with 2 years left on his deal, they're ready to make a run, and it seems like they can. Also adding Devin Williams for Jose Miranda, which he's a pretty good player too. So they must be liking their chances. They are giving at bats to Justin Turner in right field. Joey Gallo DHing still here in Minnesota. Royce Lewis, an 80 out of 80 player. And then Willie Castro leading off. Don't know why that is. So 2 major pitching additions boost them up to 99 wins expected. The Rays, I never see them good in the predictions, but they're supposed to win 95. Braves 97. Dodgers only 95 with the addition of Juan Soto, who signed this contract, which is like pretty fair for the Dodgers to pick him up for 5 years, $150 million. Like, why would you sign for $23 million in 2025 if he just took the Ohtani approach to be on this team? Sure, but they got Kyle Tucker too, who they traded Dalton Rushing for, who's really good, but like, come on. Kyle Tucker, Luis Arias they acquired as well. Kyle Tucker, Luis Arias, Mookie Betts, Shohei Ohtani, Juan Soto, Will Smith. James Outman is the only guy who you could be like, he's not really a guy, but he's still pretty good. And then you got Muncy and Wright and Brendan Donovan at third, who they traded for. That really isn't a third baseman, but ridiculous stuff. Brought back Kershaw. Still got Glasnow. I mean, Dodgers are going to be tough for the National League to challenge. Anybody else interesting? Not really. So let's check out how do we get there? Offseason center, offseason summary by team. Free agents still available. Teoscar Hernandez, Jock Peterson, just some outfielders and some guys. Actually, Austin Slater's a good player. Did he just have a bad year last year? Because I always like him as a... Why can't I click on him? Thank you. Yeah, he probably could have been a better signing than Ref Snyder. I just am not sure. I mean, I can pick him up right now. We got money. I like him too much. Teoscar, I don't care. Yeah, okay. So I'll try and sign him. Tyler O'Neill goes to Detroit. There were a lot of interesting signings. J.D. Davis goes to Arizona for 3.6. So did not get the money that he wanted, but I didn't need him by that point, and I feel like I got a better... we didn't even really need him in general. Like, we had Wisdom. I wanted to give Jaloff at bats, and then that's kind of all the space we have for righty corner infielders. Brandon Belt. Let's go to the start. Wilmer Flores signs a 5-year deal with the Cardinals. Won't click on everybody. Gio Urshela got a 10-year deal, or $10 million deal with the Blue Jays after kind of a lackluster second half of the year after being traded to the Yankees. JD Martinez to the White Sox. Justin Verlander to the Padres at age 42 for 1 year. Paul Goldschmidt to the Brewers for 2 years, 35. Lucas Erceg we cut because he was a disruptive personality, and he gets a major league deal with Seattle. Kenley Jansen to Toronto for 2 years. Jordan Montgomery to the White Sox for 4 years, trying to be Mark Burley on the south side. There were a lot more trades, if I'm being honest, than there were big free agent signings, and now we're getting into our 1-year deals we signed towards the end of the free agent period. The last one was us with Kevin Biggio. And by team, if we look at what we did, we actually were the third most improved team by WAR this season, in the offseason, I should say, but Moncada was a big chunk of that, and he's not going to play until August for us. Davis was a loss. Birdie did not get that WAR with us. He got that with Miami. So really we should break even, I guess. I don't know. Rooker gone, of course, in the Vines deal, who's not starting with us with the starters we picked up in free agency. But Colin Ray and Nick Gordon, Ref Snyder, Kikuchi, a couple additions, even without Moncada contributing. At least we're not the Jays, Diamondbacks, and Astros, though, losing all that they did, like Zach Gallen getting traded to Texas. signing a huge 6-year extension with the organization. They're not afraid to spend money anymore. This is a good way to see trades, actually. Forgot that they listed them. Masataka Yoshida was traded for Miles Straw and Bo Naylor to the Guardians. Seiya Suzuki traded to the Marlins. McKenzie to Texas as well, so they're beefing up kind of a super rotation down there, as they have the past few years. And the Astros, I mean, look, they blew up their whole core. Tucker gone, Valdez gone, McCullers, Urquidy, and then the other guys are getting older. So they're, I think, thrown in the towel, I guess. Walker Buehler traded to the Cardinals. Got to find a way to fit in all these guys somehow. Dodgers somehow the best WAR gain this season is ridiculous. Willie Adames signed with the Giants. I remember that. Woodruff got traded to the Cardinals for more prospect capital than I could give up. The problem with us is, like, I want to go out and get people, but we don't have any trade chips at all. JT Realmuto was traded for Jason Dominguez to the Phillies. And that's just kind of a crazy deal. I guess I should go into it. Dominguez and Salazar, who's nothing, but Dominguez is like still 80 potential player. And the Yankees just gave up on him for Realmuto, who's a good catcher, but like I don't think he's worth that much. He had 4.1 WAR last season though. Cease got traded to Baltimore by the Padres in kind of like a repeat Corbin Burns deal. And then that should be about it. Verlander, I guess, played for Toronto for a little bit. I don't know how I feel about that. So that's the wrap-up of the 2024 offseason. Here's us now, the Sacramento Athletics, first Major League Baseball team to play in Sacktown. We are kind of owning this town with the Kings, having it in the winter, and then us having it in the summer. I feel like is a good dynamic. And I guess further justification for this in real life would be that television revenues would be more easily justified to be kept by the Athletics if they were still close enough to the Bay Area instead of going to like Salt Lake City or something. So Sacramento, I think, is the leader in real life right now, and I think it's a fun city to put a team in. If I'm being honest, like I don't want a team in Vegas. I thought about Portland. We'll continue to think about Portland if it swings that way and we want to move again, or we're forced to move again, and the lease comes up in this ballpark. But I like Sacramento. We'll see if we can win here. I didn't goose the fan interest. I don't feel like it would generate a lot of fan interest to move to Sacramento. Like, it's like, oh, the A's are here. Oh, they're bad. I don't really care. So I wanted to keep that low too, just so things are a little bit harder on me. I don't want this to be an easy build. Certainly is not already. But we're making little moves, adding guys, one guy at a time. We already added Garindo. None of these guys, except for Vargas, we added, though, in the top 10, other than Garindo. These were all guys that were here. So it's just marginal steps, keeping the guys we have, making the right decisions on who's got a future. Maybe it's Ruiz, maybe it's Soderstrom. And then getting rid of the guys that we're ready to get rid of, I guess, who would be an example of that. Maybe it is Vargas. He has to take a step forward this year and be a real starter. I'm not too sure about him. But that's it for this episode. I think the first 5 episodes I put out Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, but I'll shift to more of a 2 to 3 times a week upload schedule to pace these out. One of the things that I like about this series is that it allows me, or it forces me to slow down in the way that I play the game and kind of enjoy the in-betweens more. So this is a good way to pace this save that I would be as invested in real life, but it would probably, I would burn through it in a quarter to a half of the time. So catch you back a little bit later in the week. We're getting ready for 2025. The A's predicted to win 62 games this season, but we'll see how the young players develop. Thanks for watching.